Hello and welcome to PaxAriaGaming. This is Reg with episode number 18 of Crimson Desert. As always, we will start with a recap of last episode. Last episode, we completed Chapter 10 in its entirety. Counterattack was the name of the chapter. What do we do in that chapter? We head to the Gate of War. We needed to activate a particular device. We met the Master of the Ironworks, Valgash, who became an ally of ours. We had a clash with some clockwork insects. We ended up fighting the frozen-hearted predator. Some of the other things we did, because the chapter was so short, is we went to each of the research institutes. Zargon Tankworks, we got a small Cuckoo A-tag, and we also went to Stonefell Research Institute as well. So we did a few extra things that wasn't part of the plan, but the chapter was so short. In this chapter, we begin, in this episode 18, we begin chapter 11, Truth and Reality. We will probably get it to the halfway point before we then move on and do some other things before wrapping up, and then we'll conclude it in an upcoming episode. Again, this is Reg with PaxAriaGaming. Let's get started. We have uploads every Tuesday and Friday. So while we're here, we may as well use the grindstone. I don't know whether you can use the grindstone or the anvil too much. Certain weapons have a durability thing attached to it, but not all of them do. The Truth and Reality is where we are. So we're going to follow the quest lines in order until we get to about the halfway point, and then we'll do some other things. I'm not sure we can actually finish the chapter in my little 2-hour block. So we'll at least get through half of it, and then we'll do some other things. Okay, so where we need to get to, Delicia on the other side of the map. Not an area that we've explored much. In some other areas of the game, we've gone there to do other things, just to go there either to find an item and come back, or the legendary horse and come back. Things like that. But we haven't really explored much of this area, at least this part of this area, as evidenced by not seeing any fast travel points near the destination. And the map is you can look at the map and see that it's not cleared out. So, but we will get, I guess, some of it done in this episode. These clockwork insects and these robotic guys seem to be unique to Delicia. They're not in Hernan. They're not in the Crimson Desert. I don't remember seeing them in Demonis. So the smarter move, which clearly I'm not doing right now, would have been to go to Kilnden and craft the disruptor Cuckoo Spear. But that has an electricity thing attached to it, which would allow you to, I guess, short circuit these guys. And in this instance, I'm just trying to get to my destination. I'm assuming there'll be a fast travel point there. There's way too many of these guys to fight. Oh, I do have the disruptor. Okay, so we're going to use the disruptor. There we go. Oh yeah. We got the disruptor from Balgash. Yeah, that was the item we received. We didn't know we had it. Okay, so yeah, we can use the disruptor. We can also use the clockwork pack that will absorb these flying insects as well. But again, I'm just trying to get to Delicia Castle. I can fight these guys later, but I want to at least get to that destination first. Because I'm running for my life, I'm absolutely certain I've probably passed up 2 or 3 fast travel points. This may also be where the final research institute is. Interestingly enough, we got Skelastone and Pororan early in the game, and then we got the one in Crimson Desert, and I guess the final 3 are all in the same region here, which is sort of interesting that they would all be in sort of like one region of the game, of the map. I also found out that, like for instance, in the Skelastone one, there is, if you look at the menu, it will say that there's one research thing left, but it doesn't show up if you go to Skelastone and you talk to the researcher. The same is true with the witches. There's one, it says, for instance, 20 of 21 or something like that. But there's no mission for that. My understanding is something will happen in the final chapter where those missions will become available. I thought at first it was some kind of error, but it's not. Okay, so some research has stopped somewhere. Actually, okay, it's the one at the ironworks. Okay, so yeah, we'll do that once we get to a fast travel point. I don't want to go back and then have to traverse my way all the way back here without finding a fast travel point. I do have a legendary animal. It's an ibex. I haven't actually created him yet, or I don't know what you gotta use. Is it crafting? I got the antlers from a fight. Okay, here's a fast travel down here. I got the antlers from a fight. You need to take the antlers to a witch and do the special crafting thing, and then you'll be able to summon. Once you summon the legendary animal the first time, he will always be, or it will always be summonable. But you have to do that at least once. Okay, we got the fast travel point unlocked. We have this guy who's slow in the uptake because we now have the fast travel point. But I guess if he's going to be here every time I come back here, we should take his, see how many tries this is going to take me. Gotcha. It took a lot of tries. I added some of them. It took me like 12 tries to lock on and grab this thing. Okay, so he won't be back. So if you fast travel to this point again, he will not annoy you. Okay, we have some folks, looks like they're making some kind of pilgrimage, or maybe they're just walking to their destination. They didn't go out and snag a legendary horse. So before I end the main playthrough, I may get a couple more legendary animals. We'll see. I'll definitely get them post-playthrough, but I don't necessarily want to drag out the end part of the story chapter 11 is the penultimate chapter. Chapter 12 is the final chapter, and then there's a prologue. And in between chapters, I put extra stuff in. Not this time. The reason I didn't do it this time is because chapter 10 was so short, and we did a bunch of extra stuff in chapter 10. We're going to conclude chapter 11 in 2 parts. This one and maybe, yeah, this one and the next one. And we'll probably have some space and time to do some extra stuff. Then we'll have a side quest episode, followed by the final episode. And I guess prologue. And then I will obviously continue playing. And we'll record significant events or significant quests. I won't record them all because some of them are basically tedious kinds of quests, clearing areas, going after bandits, doing political stuff for each of the factions. And I'm not sure how interesting people are going to find that. I want to also find the wyvern egg. I want the white wolf as a mount. So there's some things that on my little list it gets longer and longer that I actually want to do. And also when I get to all of the 40 Abyss Gates to get the true ending, I will definitely record that. So I'll be sort of progressing that. There seems to be a lot of them left, but they're not necessarily tied to the story. Okay, so let's, since we have the map, the quest marker in here, let's grab this bounty first. Oh, that's the other thing I need to do. I must have like 30 bounties to do across the map. See, if they made the cuckoo pot so you can actually put these outlaws inside the cuckoo pot and then transport them, it'd be so much easier and faster. Because I have to find them, beat them up, tie them up, load them on the back of the horse, and then traverse back to wherever the closest prison is. It's like, why do I need to do that again? I'm still traumatized by the early game one where, you know, the guy was all the way across the map. This was early, so we didn't have a lot of, well, it wouldn't have mattered whether you had a fast travel point or not, because you can't use those with the outlaws. Okay, there's a fast travel point here, which is sort of nice to have one actually beside a building that you're going to come back to. This is the Church of Delicia. We're going to go in here. And at each of the churches, you should go to the contribution box. I don't have any weapons equipped. You should go to the contribution box.
You can't expect kids to resist such temptation.
And donate.
What could be luring the kids in, I wonder?
That will get your contribution points up pretty quickly. What I missed, I can tell you now, that behind this guy who looks like he's giving some kind of sermon, is a little puzzle that gets you to a sword. So you go behind him, you light the 2 sconces near the candle, and an elevator drops down from the ceiling.
Salvation stands open to all.
You step on that elevator. I think there's a button that you press. You go back up, and I believe it's a chest that you find the sword in. I haven't done it yet. I found out about it after I had recorded this, and I haven't gone back to this place. So I know that I'll have to come back, and I may do that in the next episode since we'll be finishing this chapter. Okay, I don't want to knock your chairs over, but guys, really? Okay, so this is the contribution box. All of the contribution boxes, or donation boxes, look exactly alike. They have this little symbol. And because we have more than enough money to donate, the recommendation is that in each at each church, or at least one church per region, some regions may have more than one church, you want to do this. And I think I've been doing somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 each time. So it changes your influence level in the region. I'm not quite sure. It certainly doesn't make for fewer enemies. Maybe it changes the way some NPCs interact with you. So we have the fast travel point right over here. Well, let's talk to this guy first.
The roof of the servants' quarters has collapsed.
Okay.
But I cannot spare any manpower to repair it at the moment.
So you're just asking a random stranger to fix
Could
your
I
place
ask for
up?
your help? You shall be well rewarded. I give you my word.
Okay, so this will be a dispatch mission. Sweet Bloom Plantation. Yeah, this loading screen always takes a long time. So we go over to missions. Okay, so we have that we can do. The other thing that we need to start doing is rebuilding.
It's all thanks to the great Marni.
We need to start rebuilding Payloon. I've been sort of ignoring that.
I can't even remember my life before the great Marni came.
I don't know whether it changes anything about the end of the game, but obviously the whole idea was to get back home. Home for the Greymanes is Payloon. And so I've been sort of ignoring it. And there's a lot of building that has to happen. Like you build a place for the little government, you build an infirmary, you build, like, I think it's like 5 or 6 different things that you build. So I need to start that and make sure that it's at least
The great Marni has
built
made my life
up.
far easier.
You can't move your camp there until post-game, so it's not like you can move there early. At least I don't think you can move there before the end game. And at some point I'll show you guys
Hello.
my little house back at Howling Hill, and I will... Well, let's see what these guys...
Oh, hang on now. He doesn't look dangerous.
It's a little bit like Hernan.
So, don't cause trouble. You hear? Open it. You may pass.
Okay, so this is sort of a... I guess it's introducing you to this as a little bit like Hernan Castle, right? Similar kind of a thing. There'll probably be multiple missions here. People will argue that all you did was reskin one area to create another area, so the map probably isn't as big as it really is and all that good stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. We just got here, so let's take a look around. I don't like the idea of wearing the Vision forever. You know, why is it red? Huh. So I have it set so that when I'm not in combat, you will not see my head covering. I don't think the game always allowed you to do that. It was an early patch, but I don't think it was at the beginning.
Move along.
Hello to you. How can I help you? If you see anything unusual, report it at once.
There will be
For the safety of the realm.
There will be part of the game where you have to wear the Vision helmet in order to sort of progress.
Ah, about time. This way, please.
Oh, they were expecting me.
I took
Okay.
the liberty of learning a little about you. One detail proved intriguing. They say you can open abyss gates at will. Could such a gift exist for only a select few?
You know what they say about curiosity.
Ah, forgive me. My curiosity runs deep. Of course, whether I choose to help you or not.
Depends entirely on you. So, will you allow me to study that gift of yours?
Call down your flying fortress and release the prisoners.
And here I was thinking you'd be reasonable. There's no need to be hasty. I'll give you time to think it over. I trust you'll make the right decision.
Hey. All right, I'm guessing that whoever's behind that disembodied voice is likely to be the end chapter boss of this chapter. Right, read the memory beneath Felicia Castle. Well, first let's grab these Palmer pills because they are all important. Okay, so apparently we're not stealing if we take all of this stuff. But since we're just at the start of this chapter, I don't want to fill up my inventory with this stuff yet. So what I've been doing is whenever I get to an area and I find a bunch of stuff, me and our puppy here, Casey, we usually just scour the place and then go back to Howling Hill and sell it, store the things that we want. We have a collectibles chest so that whenever you find iron ore, copper, those kinds of crafting materials, you can put them in that particular storage. So it'll take up, you will still have it in the storage in your inventory until you take it out of your inventory and put it in that particular chest that's in that's in the Kliff's house. And so when you go to refine your equipment, you don't have to go get it out. It automatically pulls from there when you're ready to refine, which is great because initially you had to go back. If you stored it in your personal storage, you had to go back and get it. Actually, I guess that's still true. So you have to take it out of your personal storage and put it in that other storage, the collectible storage. Okay, so looks like we're going to have some puzzles to do. So you'll know you got it when it does that. In this case, it automatically puts you into the Vizion.
I'm afraid. You need to get out of here before his brain boots up. You're right to be wary, but just humanly, and do as I say. Have a look around. You should spot a door you've not seen before. There's a transport device in there. It should whisk you off nicely. Well, mostly nicely. Doesn't always stick the landing. Bit of a wobble on the coordinates, you see. If you do make it out with all the pieces in the right place, head to the manor with the big golden statue. Hard to miss.
So this is why you need the Vizion, because you're going to be traversing parts of this area, and in order to see the door, you have to take the Vision off. So you're going to be traversing parts of this area where you can only see where you need to go by having the Vision on, and then you take it off to navigate part of it. It's pretty confusing, and all of this is to get to a particular transporter. Transporters are going to be a thing in this particular chapter as well.
Is this the transporter that he spoke of?
So with this transporter, you're able to go to you'll be able to, not this one, but the next one we find, you'll be able to go to different locations. But you need to unlock, you need to find it and unlock it first. And they do not show up on the fast travel map. So that's the thing that you got to be sort of careful about.
Bit of a wobble.
Okay, now we leave this building and we head to a mansion that has a big giant gold statue in front of it. It's nearby. So what was I saying? If something should happen, let's say for instance at this point, if you decide for whatever reason you need to fast travel back to Howling Hill, in order to get back here, you sort of have to go through the same thing you just went through in order to get back to this space. Because there's no... I guess maybe if you created a save... Actually, no, you still wouldn't get it. Because if you create a save, sometimes it takes you to a checkpoint area. So maybe there is a checkpoint. I didn't try that. But if you leave and you try to come back before you find a true fast travel point, maybe it'll just take you to what the game considers to be the nearest checkpoint. And I have no idea of knowing where it is. Sometimes they seem pretty random, but they're almost always close. Okay, here's a fast travel point. Okay, so here we can get back to. But there will be, once we start this quest in earnest, we will not see those fast travel points. This one you can get back to. So ignore what I just said. Or hold off on what I just said until we get a little bit further into this chapter. Okay, it won't let me climb the wall for some reason, but that's okay. So I guess it just wants you to admire the statue. Because you have the little thing that says look, and you look at it and says, okay, I guess this is the great Marni. But other than that, at least I haven't figured out whether there's anything else to interact with in terms of that statue. And after this, you'll see that my Howling Hill house is now decorated with a bunch of pictures of portraits of Marni. Don't ask me why. And I don't know why he has so many portraits of himself here anyway. I mean, there are a zillion of them in every room. I was like, wow. But they're all takeable. I mean, even you can, you know, and I guess I should come back here because if I can come back, I may as well come back and take everything that I left behind the first time. Right, Casey? Yeah, I hadn't thought to do that. And interestingly, all of these portraits are lootable, even the ones that are high up, but I'm not sure how you would get up there to get them. And I guess the game gives you some knowledge for the portraits. Again, it's a little odd. Told you, he's got pictures everywhere. Portraits everywhere. And it's giving me knowledge for each of the ones that I take, even though some of them are repeats. So I wonder if I take 2 of the same kind, whether it would still give me knowledge or give me credit for the knowledge. See, those all give you the options to take, but I guess you can climb this little pipe and maybe take it that way, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure why you would need to, what you would need those for. Okay, so looks like, okay, that's a duplicate. We didn't get any more knowledge. I was going to say, it looks like we can take duplicates, we just won't get any knowledge for it. Yeah, this little area can be somewhat confusing because you need to traverse through the correct doors in order to eventually get to the transporter. And I haven't figured out when you miss part of one of these puzzles how you go back and reboot it from the very start. You know, there's not one of those. Although I don't know why they wouldn't put a try again. If you goof up, some of them are pretty sequential, and if you miss the sequence, then you're just, I think, just guessing. And you can still get it. I mean, there's no. I think that's true if you're following a set of instructions. If you follow the instructions and you get it wrong, then you don't know how to get back to the beginning to start following the same instructions again. But if you're just randomly trying to get it, it'll work. Like this, I'm just doing randomly. And it seems like it's not a particularly difficult thing.
Welcome. Ignore the clutter around my manor if you would. I haven't played host for quite a while. I've done my part, so now for a little quid pro quo. No need for alarm. I assure you all is safe. We share a collective goal, after all. You will find a fully functional transporter within the manor. Pop right in and find the keys wherever you pop out. Plain sailing, don't you think? 3 keys. To get to me, you'll need to gather them all. Oh, and one more thing. The fort may hold a dash of danger, but I'm confident you'll manage. I'll be waiting for you, Greymane.
Okay. So the next part of the quest is a 3-parter. We need to find these 3 keys that are in 3 different locations. Chances are fighting 3 bosses along the way. This is the part that's a little bit like I'm never sure when I should take this Vision off or not. So we're looking for the next area that we need to go to. And I would suggest you really pay attention to which side of the wall the doors are on. so you won't keep going back, walking in circles, basically. Okay, so we've been here before because there are no pictures on the lower part of the wall, which means we've taken them all. All right, so we need to find another one of those things on the wall that we can interact with. Casey just joined us. Looks like someone had a big tantrum in this room. This is all torn up. Yeah, I actually walked. I'm gonna take this picture. I actually walked past the thing I needed to interact with. It's on the other side of the bookshelf. And I think I walked past it because when you walk past the sconces, you get a button you can interact with as well. And I don't want sconces. I guess maybe I could take them. Actually, I should have thought about it. I'd take them and put them in my little house. I have to remember to do that. If I have any space left on the wall once I cover my wall with Marni portraits. So this is just a bunch of free stuff that you can take. And at this point in the game, people may say, I don't really need any more free stuff. You know, one of the research thingies has to do with gold veins, which I haven't done yet, but I'll do. But it's all near the end of the game. So you wonder, how much gold would I need at the end of the game? However, since I plan to continue playing afterwards, maybe I'll need it for something afterwards. Actually, I would say since midway through the game, I haven't really needed a lot of money for different things. You know, the camp is making a lot of money on its own. Refinement doesn't cost you money; it costs you materials that you get. So you don't need money for that. Research does cost you money. Most of the research will cost a little bit of money. Every once in a while you'll get one that's 150 silver. I think the highest one I've found so far has been 500. And I didn't have 500. And it took me forever to get 500. So that was a little frustrating because I didn't have what I needed. And I kept thinking, see, if I had a gold bar, this wouldn't be an issue. This is what I mean by being very aware of which doors you're going through. You'll know you're in the right place when you find another one of these areas with things you can interact with. It's usually going to be a one of these pipes that lead up the wall. And then you'll get to one of those clock-like things as well. It's going to be one of these kinds of pipes that you interact with. That will put you into the Vision mode, which would then reveal a door that you need to go through. One that wasn't here before, at least one that we couldn't see before. And this is the this is transporter that we were guided towards. Now this transporter will take you to 3 different locations. Each of those locations is where the key is. Don't press the top one. It's the middle one, the lower one that you need to press. And in each of these locations, the 3 locations where the keys exist, there will be well, obviously, since you have to transport there, there'll be a transporter that will transport you back here. I goofed up on one and didn't use the transporter. So it made it a little bit tricky for me to figure out how to get back. So it doesn't matter what order you do these in. So you could go to the aeronautical one first. This is the Valve Guard garrison. I assume that something called a garrison would be tougher than some of these other areas. So you'll see the map marker says it's way the hell away from here, but since we're not doing that one, and there's no way to change it, which is sort of odd. I guess because they sort of lumped them all together. So we need to fight our way through these little robots. And then you take on the field boss of this area. And that will give you the ability to gain the key. Now, in some areas, it will be treated like, and this may be one of them, it will be treated just like one of the enemy camps that you had to clear, where it starts at 100%, and you have to work it all the way down to the bottom to 0 to eventually clear it. I'm not sure all three are like that, but certainly a couple of them might be. Okay, so here we are going to be wanting to use the disruptor device. And with these big enemies, you need to do that more than once. So if they still are moving around after you do it, not to worry. Casey's down there barking up a storm. Now, you could go down there and fight them. I mean, just so you know, you're not relegated to just staying up here and doing the disruptor thing. And once you defeat these enemies, what you want to do is you want to take the battery. Yeah, it usually takes maybe two jolts, sometimes 3. The flying ones, you know, some of the smaller ones, you can do it in 1 jolt, but the larger enemies take a little bit longer. The field boss, the boss we have to face in order to get the key, is through the door that we saw ahead. But we're going to drop down and we're going to grab the batteries. Now, I guess the reason why you would take these is my sneaky suspicion, and I'm not 100% sure, is that for the cuckoo crafting of like the disruptor spear, maybe some of the other cuckoo kinds of things, you're going to need that. There's a little... Casey just ran through the robot. If you need to cook something, you know, there's a pot there that you can cook some food. That's the key, but you can't access that key until that turns yellow, which is not going to happen until after you defeat the boss. There's another battery over here. We may as well take it. You know, throughout the game, you'll see the small batteries, and then you'll see the larger batteries. In this instance, you want the... Actually, it doesn't matter whether they're small or large. You want any battery you see, you want to take. The difference is, of course, the larger batteries you have to seal away in the cuckoo pot. The smaller ones you can just pick up and they show up in your inventory. Okay, so this enemy is predominantly an electric-based enemy, but it does fire little ammo at you. I guess it could be bullets, I'm not sure what they are, but it does fire them, so you can use Nature's Snare to throw those back. Let's see how this goes. Under pressure. Okay, well. Nature's Snare. It'll only work on things being fired at you. That was electricity, so you wouldn't use Nature's Snare on that. He shoved me outside of the arena and is not leaving the door to let me back in. The disruptor didn't do anything to it. And in about 7 more seconds, I will have lost this battle. Okay, so, well, that was unfortunate. Not quite sure that was supposed to happen. Let's do this again. So this time, instead of using a disruptor, which doesn't work, I'm using my watcher pack. Those are the little things that they fire out. So you don't want to just back up. You want to move in a circle around this thunder pressure. So the first time, and you want to stay outside of the range of that AoE, by the way. So what you want to do is you want to move in counterclockwise or clockwise, doesn't really matter, just move in a circle, because when it comes at you, the tendency is, of course, for it to come directly at you, like that. And if you keep moving in a circle, then you won't get knocked out of the arena like I did the first time. And I would suggest you stay out of range of the electrical thing that he's doing. So the good thing about the Watcher pack, I think I've mentioned this before, is the crit builds up very fast. See, I'm doing very little damage to it, but the Watcher pack fires constantly. Oh, okay, he caught me that time. So you want to block these, send them back. Well, now you want to hold off, send them back. So you can see them approaching you, so you want to make sure that you time your Nature Snare. That you time it so that you're not getting hit while you're doing something else, like this. You time it so you capture them all, send them back. Need to be doing it again because they're flying my way. Got it. Okay, I missed. I didn't see those coming my way. Oh, he's got a whole bunch of them. And they sort of home in on you, so you have to sort of make sure you're running away from them. And sometimes he'll fire off 3 or 4 volleys. Like that one. I should have just waited until they all came. Okay, so as you can see, the top broke off because he's stunned, or it's stunned. Ideally, you would climb on top and stab through the top of that dome. But that doesn't usually work for me. Ouch. So because that doesn't work, I just figured go ahead and just... Okay. So my little watcher took care of it. Yeah, for some reason, every time I've tried that, even with the older enemies, earlier enemies in the game, whenever I climb up, I'm never able to get the stab off before I get knocked off. So now we get the obligatory cutscene, and then we should be able to take the key. And this isn't one of the ones where we needed to do the clear 100%. I think the next area is one of those type of areas. So this is probably the more difficult actual boss to fight, but easier area to traverse. So when you do this, make sure you remove the key. That little icon just means you can have the fight again if you want to. So don't go clicking on anything when you get near it. So now you can just go back, take the key. So that is 1 of 3. And again, it doesn't matter what order you do them in. See, this was the mistake that I made. I could have gone to the transporter and just transported here instead of, you know, getting here this way. So make it easier on yourself and just use the transporter. I mean, because it's weird because it's a relatively new mechanic that only is in this section. And so it wasn't intuitive for me to think, oh, just use the transporter to get back here. And so I ended up having to sort of run my way to this area. Climb a mountain or two. Where am I? Yeah. See, that was bad. You know, maybe there'll be another fast travel point along the way that we need to unlock anyway, but it would have been far more efficient to just use a transporter, but instead, me and the horse here will take a little jaunt. Yeah, I haven't explored any of this area, but that looks like a sort of like a ruins. But I didn't see a question mark on the map, so maybe it's not. Okay, so we do have a little camp of some type over there.
Hiya!
So this looks like a fairly small research base pipeline. The area ahead is where we want to go. Yep, the aeronautical research base. So as I mentioned, this is one of those areas that we need to clear 100% in order to liberate the area, which is a separate task from getting the key, finding the boss and getting a key. So just as an FYI. Although they may be connected, because I don't know whether you can get the key. Well, actually, I think it would be very difficult to fight the boss without... you know what? I take all that back. That's not true. I think you can end up in an area where you fight the boss before you actually clear the area, but you still won't get the achievement for having liberated this area. So it'll remain red on your map. But since we're here, we may as well do all of it, right? We may as well clear the area. Ouch. Get the key. Fight the boss. You may as well do everything. And that way we don't necessarily have to come back unless there's some area over here we haven't explored. Oops. So the boss... What am I doing? Okay, so with the... There's the boss right there. So with the... in this area you have an option, well actually you don't really have an option, because with the flying ones, you want to, you want to use the disruptor. With the other ones, no, with the flying ones you want to use the sort of clockwork bug collector, and with the other ones you want to use the disruptor. The disruptors work on the flying ones as well. So it sort of forced me into the boss fight. I wouldn't have done this first. I would have preferred to take on the enemies first, but we're going to do the boss first, and then we'll take on the enemies. Okay, so the first one was electric-based, or lightning-based, as the game refers to it. This one is fire-based. We're gonna get our Watcher pack out and build up his crit damage, or his poise damage, so we can get a critical hit on him, whichever way you say it. Yeah, he's definitely not as difficult as the first one. That doesn't mean I can't die, but I'm just saying that this one's a little bit... Or maybe I learned from the first one not to back up directly away from it, to move on the side. And he's firing the same missiles as the other guy fired. Sometimes they're in multiple volleys, sometimes it's just one, sometimes it's as many as 3. Okay, I should have been paying attention that time. As you can see, we haven't sort of broken his poise. Yeah, we have now. He's already at half health. The only limitation here is, for me at least, is stamina. I may end up having to rinse and repeat. Yeah, there you go. Okay, but that's okay. His voice meter thingy is going to build up pretty quickly. So now we want to unleash. Did I not do it at all? getting sloppy here. The one thing you have to pay attention to in using this particular strategy with Nature Snare is the spirit that you have. So I'm building it up. I see the missiles coming my way. Now I'm going to go into Nature Snare. There's some more coming. Like that. Almost defeated. Let's build some more spirit. And we see the missiles. Unless my watchers take them out before. Oh, here are the missiles. There's some more missiles. Now we unleash. That he's gonna catch me now. He caught me off guard. The camera pan out thing sort of threw me off. I was like, okay, where are these missiles in reference to me? And he's probably gonna do it 2 or 3 more times. He's got a sliver of health left. All right, let's do this again. Make me use a Palmer Pope or something like that. That's just pretty dumb. And yeah, you can walk towards the enemy when you're doing this. There we go. Now we still have 79% of this place to clear, so we're not done yet. So that was Storm Crusher. We have an artifact. The key is in that little room that we passed when we were forced to come into this space. But we have a whole host of enemies to take out first. And the flying ones, those floating ships, don't really count in terms of your enemy count. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time shooting at them. It's these guys and the flying one, and those flying ones are the ones that count. The big ones, when they see you, they'll actually come up here and engage you. So I think it's a good idea to sort of kite them out up here one at a time. Yeah, their little missiles have a shorter range, so I don't really worry about that part hurting me as much. And we're going to take the battery from this one as well. The flying ones are annoying. They're not going to kill you. I shot this one down, but I don't believe they were the ones shooting at me. I think it was those flying guys that we've dealt with before that are annoying. You can either absorb them if you need them for crafting, or you can use a disruptor and destroy them. I believe they drop cogwheels or something. The dramatic music is still playing because there's still bosses around. Not bosses, there's still enemies around. So this is where that one died pretty quickly. So I should probably either be using the Watcher or the Disruptor, either one, instead of just painstakingly trying to... There we go. Use the disruptor. So my guess is if we use the disruptor 2 more times, it'll probably clear the area. So it's not a difficult area, it's just that it's just got a lot more enemies in it than the first area. I thought this was something I could interact with. But even though that's the case, now that we've killed the boss, we know we've already achieved the major objective, and that is to have access to the key. We haven't gotten the key yet, because the key, like I said, is in a building that we ran past. We have to go back and get it. There we go. That took care of the rest of them. The recharge time on the disruptor isn't very long, but you don't want to rely on it if you're in the middle of a really difficult tussle, because you need time to not get hit while you're trying to do that. Otherwise, it'll knock you out of the animation for using the disruptor. Okay, so we've achieved 2 things. We've gotten the boss done. We've liberated the area. Third thing is, let's go grab that key. Once we grab the key, we can move on to the final area. Oops, sorry, buddy. Oh, there's an anvil. Probably need to use this. You don't... There's nothing that tells you what condition your weapon are in or anything like that. I think the thing is that certainly the grindstone gives you a buff for a period of time. I don't remember how long for. I'm not sure what the how long the buff for the anvil lasts. It's probably around the same thing, that you get a buff. So you will usually see them strategically near a boss, and the game is, I guess, trying to hint at you that you should use these before you then deal with the boss. So this is what I should have done the first time. So you go to the transporter, you click on the area you want to go to, and it takes you directly there instead of having to figure out your way how to get back there. Same thing with returning to the manor. Sometimes when I'm not paying attention to what the hell it is I'm supposed to be doing, I'll make a doofus mistake. This time I got it right, but the other 2 times I did not. At least this animation doesn't pause in the middle like the other animation, the opening animation. So we're back. We're at the laboratorium. Now this one has same thing. You have to sort of liberate the area. You should rescue these people. The ones that are green, that have the green light, are alive. The ones with the red light are not. So when you open it, if they're alive, and if it's green, they'll be alive. They'll stumble out like that. If you open one of the ones where they're dead,
I can go home thanks to you.
they'll just fall over. So tragic. Okay, so I'm guessing these are, they must have been snagging Palonese people from all over the map to do horrible things to. Because I think these are they're Paline refugees. It's like horrible. Why are they picking on the Palone people? So we're going to rescue all of the ones that we see. Hopefully all of them open.
I can't thank you enough, friend.
Unlike some of the caged cells out in the world, you'll see sometimes people in there saying, please help me, or making that noise that they make when they want to be rescued, and then there's no way to open it.
Can't thank you enough, friend.
I won't forget what you did for me.
No worries.
You've done me a great service.
It's the transporter, so when we are done, we can come back here and be transported back to the manor. Unless, of course, you forget that that's there and you decide to fast travel somewhere else, only to then realize that, oh shoot, I should have used the transporter.
Of all the rocks.
Hey, buddy, I'm trying to save people's lives and you're just stumbling around in here. I don't know why they do that. I've not figured out why some of them run off screaming like that. That's just weird.
Please, hear me out.
See, like, is he in here?
Please, don't end my days here.
So it's not these guys. It's the ones in the cages that are begging for help. If you can find them all. Sometimes those little cages are hidden away, so it makes it difficult to find.
This is a misunderstanding.
Okay, so we're gonna keep.
I owe you a great debt.
As you can see, the contribution goes up. In Delicia, we've been doing. Any of these people we've seen along the way, we've sort of saved them or rescued them. So this is not a new thing for Kliff.
I don't own shit.
I beg you.
Okay, all right. I wasn't paying attention. Someone snuck up behind me. Who's shooting at me? I don't know what that was.
If you let me live,
So you can see the key is behind us.
Please, hear me out.
So we can only access it once it turns yellow. So we can't do anything with it now.
misunderstanding.
So we'll free these guys. Casey is barking. The music picked up. Oh, that's why. Okay, at least the dog warns me. Yeah, the disruptor is definitely useful in this part of the game. Dude, I am trying to get the battery. You stand now. Okay, there we go. Okay, buddy, I'm getting to it. I'm gonna let you out. You're good.
I owe you a great debt.
Okay, so you weren't the one asking to be let out, so.
I beg you.
Is it you?
Please, hear me out. Please, don't end my days here.
Oh, it's you guys. You're tied up. I didn't even see you guys over here. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I guess another goal that
Thank you.
that one can have for the
Most
game
excellent.
is getting a contribution experience level up to 100 in each of the areas. I think I've only done that in Hernand. I think it's 100% in Hernand.
Thank you enough, friend. I'm grateful.
And I'm not sure. I guess
You've done me a great
I tend to be a little meticulous about stuff like this. I like order. Order is important for me, and I'm wondering whether or not, it makes sense to say that once the game is over and I'm continuing to play on, I just play by area and complete each area, or whether, like the main game, there'll be times when you have to go back to a previous area. So for instance, if I complete every single quest in Hernand before moving on to Payloon, would that work, or would I end up having to come back to Hernand anyway? Okay, something is shooting at me. Okay, I see. It's that thing on the wall, and then this big guy is now coming after me. Because I suspect I have a lot to do in the Crimson Desert still. I mean, I've done some quests. I haven't even identified all of the factions in that area. Same thing with Delicia, but we haven't been here that long. And some of those factions, it just occurred to me, might depend on Damien. Okay, what am I doing here? Should be trying to shoot this thing. It's sort of occurring to me that maybe those factions aren't really being identified for me because they're not meant for me to do. And that may be true for Unka and parts of the map as well. I mean, I have not played as them other than when I had to play, and every time I've requested their assistance, they've been busy doing something else. So I have tons of gear for both Damien and Unga, as well as weapons, some really good weapons. So whenever I switch over, maybe I'll do an episode. This is giving me an idea. I guess I can do an episode post-game, an episode as Damien, and an episode of Unga, or do a 2 or 3 part series of Damien and one of I guess that might be interesting. If there's enough for them to do. Because Kliff's journey will be over at that point. Like at this point, there's certain things that are part of his journey, so you can't actually switch to them. I don't know, there are lots of little questions about that. So I will keep a tab as to all of the things I'm promising that I'm going to do. I definitely want the legendary. I know the dragon will unlock at the end, and at that point you'll be able to use him. And I believe it's in Fororan in the research. There's an item that you can get from completing that research that allows you to reset the dragon's cooldown, so that you don't have to, wait 50 minutes for the dragon to be available to you again. But the other question I have is, if you can find a wyvern egg and grow the wyvern into an adult wyvern, does he have the same cooldown as the dragon? Or is he ever going to be big enough to fly you around as well? So I don't know the answers to those questions. I'm pretty sure at this point there are people who've wrapped up the game and they probably have answers to that. I mean, early in the game I was interested in abyss gears and particular weapons and armor sets and stuff like that. I'm beyond that now. Okay, so this is the boss. I don't know where that came from. I feel like something was shooting at me. So we have a boss, and we have the boss's little guardian over there for some reason. And as you can see, we unlocked ice and fire. We have not unlocked electricity yet. I think it's electricity and wind are the other two. I wish they wouldn't sort of hide those away. I think that if you got quests associated with them, let's say by mid-game, it would be fun to be able to use some of those against certain bosses. I mean, if you can figure out what their weakness is. Like, I'm not going to assume that these guys' weakness is ice. They're mechanical, so it might not be. Okay, we got the cutscene. Okay, that was different. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so on the ceiling, there are these little light thingies that fire off a laser beam in a grid. And you need to be mindful of that. Like that. But as you can see, using the watchers against this guy is pretty good because he's getting crit built up in a hurry. I mean, hopefully he won't get... Okay. Pulling up again fast. I mean, very fast, actually. This is probably like the... any of the bosses I've faced so far. The fastest I've ever seen crit build up against a boss. I'm not doing a lot of physical damage to him, but I'm going to get these. Looks like I'm going to get these crit opportunities multiple times. I feel like a battle master now. Well, okay. I spoke too soon. But we're not starting this fight over, so we're going to use our Palmer pills. Okay, that's new. Easy fight until I spoke a little bit too soon, a few seconds too soon, and got sent to the afterlife. All right, so this was the third one. These things were the things. Okay, so you can't destroy them. All right, but I guess I don't have to worry about them anyway because with the boss down, they don't seem active anymore. Okay, so this should give us the area is liberated message. and then we'll be able to grab the item we need. Okay, so yeah, the mistake was fast traveling back here instead of transporting, because if you transport, you go back to the room where the transporter is, which you're going to need for the next part, versus doing what I just did. That's what I was referring to earlier. Okay, let's check this. Let me just make sure where we are in terms of journal. What am I doing? I'm trying to find a percentage. It shows up in journal. Where are we? Okay, it's at 50%. So we're going to not do this next step yet. We're going to do a little bit more exploring, and then we will pick up. So this chapter then would appear to be a sort of a shorter chapter as well. But let's get back to some research. I think the research all has real benefits if you pay attention to what it is you research, at least the later research. I think the first 2 or 3 in the tree aren't really all that helpful.
Investing in technology is investing in the future itself.
The last couple in the tree are usually pretty good stuff. Like one will extend your stamina permanently, one will extend your health. I don't know whether there's one that extends your spirit permanently, unless I did it and didn't remember. Maybe there is. Maybe the Pororan one might be spirit.
I look forward to another chance to work together.
My only complaint about it is that where the map marker tells you the research institutes are isn't where the researcher is that you need to talk to. And on a fairly regular basis, research will end up being halted for one reason or another, and you end up having to go back to find out why the research is halted. So we had started research in every region with the exception of Pororan and Scalastone, because we completed all of those. So we have This one in the Ironworks. We have one in Delicia, which is new, although I think there's another one I haven't found yet. We have the one in the Crimson Desert. This one is sort of western Delicia, or eastern Crimson, northeastern Crimson Desert. I'm not quite sure which area it's in. And none of these are as long as some of the earlier ones. So you can start them depending on how long you've been awake. You can go to sleep, wake up. Ouch. You wake up and then the research is done. And as soon as it's done, you collect the research, and then you move on to the next one. And you just keep doing that.
All right. Have materials.
Usually, when it's halted, it means you have to go find
Greetings.
something.
Have you come to see our work? We study the link between plants and heat. Taro, in particular, changes its very nature when heated. Fascinating. But on the cusp of a clear conclusion, we ran out of materials. We can't complete our research without further results.
Okay, so we only have to gather one of these taro thingies. You know, I have to rethink my farm back at Howling Hill because I planted a lot of abyss seeds, apple seeds, and I think one other kind of plant. I can't remember what it is now. But what I probably should have done is just plant one of everything and just go back and harvest it every other day or something like that. But I think the issue was I wasn't sure, an outpost, I guess we can clear that while we're here. I wasn't sure how much of what you would need, like the abyss cells you need for certain kinds of upgrades. So that makes sense. You find them in the game, but I didn't know whether or not, as you got later in the game, whether you would need more of them or not. Everything else is like food stuff that you can sell to Camus, who is Camus, the guy who's always standing right outside of the farm. I guess I could try planting ginseng as well. Maybe that was the other thing I planted. I also need to eventually catch some fish from my pond. So I have the pond. It doesn't have any fish in it because I haven't gone fishing. I know the game has a quest for me to team up with Unka to go fishing. So maybe I'll do that so I can at least get some fish in the pond. But it sort of makes you wonder, well, why go through all of that if the whole operation is going to move to Peloon? I'm sure I can't take a pond with me. And I don't remember seeing a pond anywhere in Peloon. Maybe there's one and I missed it. I don't remember seeing one. And I haven't gone back to do any of the sort of looking for the other Grey Mains quests. But I probably need to do that, to be honest with you. I have 25 and I know, I think the number is 40, plus you can get a bunch of mechs that work with you. They're 40 and then there are 20 other sort of nameless Grey Main that you can get. I haven't. I have to get to that. Yeah, some of these little camps are relatively easy now at this point. I don't know whether this meant I should have done this before. Okay. There's a little... Okay, there's something in the middle of this arena. We're taking as many of these little cogwheels as we can. We have 2,000 of them, so hopefully they'll be useful for something. I guess the other thing about the game is you may intend to do something, and along the way you get stopped by like 12 other things. Like in this particular case, I was going to find the tarot thing for the tarot research. Got sidetracked by this little... What have we here? Okay. Got sidetracked by this little camp and this enemy that has a cool looking sword. And has moves. Okay, I need to switch to my watcher pack here. There we go. Let's build up some crit damage. Also building up pretty fast on this enemy. Okay, this is not too bad. Another crit. And looks like I'm gonna get another one in like 5 seconds time. Wow. It's interesting because I haven't changed anything. It wasn't like I went and added another Abyss gear or refined something that had high crit damage. So maybe it's just the energy. I definitely know the Watchers are pretty good at building up crit. I mean, that was the best investment in terms of resources that I've made in this game. Wait a minute. How does he have a second phase and the health bar didn't indicate that? It's not cheating. He doesn't have any more immunity to crit than he had before. That was what it is. So even though he has the second phase, it's not any stronger than the first phase. Like Ludwig when he was jumping all over the damn place. So nothing to worry about. Make sure I never change this setup in terms of crit. Oop, I don't have a lot of health. There we go. Wait. One more should do it. Too far away. Did you have a third phase? I mean, I didn't expect you to have a second. Okay. And what is that, a raccoon? What's crawling next to him? What is that? A little creature sniffed him and ran off. Oh, this was a quest from someone. Huh. Okay. Marni's Machina Knight. Well, it's still red, so am I not done? Oh, I had to wait for the cutscene. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Okay, so we have liberated yet another place. Faction quest, Scars of War. So I guess I don't have to necessarily wait for the faction to be identified. I can just go and do these little camps. Some of them I've waited for because I didn't want to sort of mess up. But I guess that's not necessarily true. Okay, so loot was sent off somewhere, so let's continue on after this 20-minute sidetrack here. But it was interesting, fun boss. The good thing is, you know, you get enough to get an artifact every time you fight one of these guys, or at least when you're clearing one of these camps. You have enough people that you end up getting enough experience to get another Abyss gear. I haven't upgraded anything in terms of the Abyss gear. Or even the sort of main stamina, health, and spirit. Some of them require, surprisingly, because it's different from the way they've been doing it. So for instance, if you look at the requirements for upgrading, let's take health for instance, it's not just that you need more Abyss artifacts. You need artifacts plus something else. And you need to pay attention to that. So if you're interested in sort of upgrading that, and I guess I should. So before I get to the last boss, I probably want to try to max those out. I'm close, I'm not that far off. Okay, so let's grab this Taroth thing. You know, I see the train in this game. I wonder if Kliff can actually ride the train. And what happens if he tries to fly up top and land on it? Can he land on the train? I'm guessing he can't go inside of the train, but I'm just curious about that. Okay, so let's find... I have no idea what Taro is supposed to look like in real life. I think it looks like a sweet potato. And I guess because we haven't had it, it should come up as a question mark since we haven't interacted with it before. Let's try this. Yeah, okay. All the way out here to gather one Taro. Wow. And still no fast travel point nearby, which means I'm 100% certain I have passed up 3 or 4 of them that I haven't found. And to be fair, I haven't really looked. If I were traveling at night, it would be a lot easier because then you use your blinding flash and it just pop up like crazy. In the daytime, less so. But we're not going to go through the gate. We're going to go all the way around. It's easier to find these guys. So we're going to go around. We're going to give them that. And we will see where we are in terms of how much time we have. We may be able to do one more research-related thing. At least get it started. I'm not necessarily worried about it finishing up before we're done with this video. But if we at least get it started, then by the next video it should be completed and we can start the next one. The other thing I haven't done is I have not gone up in a hot air balloon. But I have been reading comments on when people say they get in the balloon, they go up, and they can't figure out how to get the balloon to go back down. So they end up just jumping out of the balloon. I'm like, okay.
It's so close. It's frustrating. Hold on. Is that Taro? With this, we can complete our research. We'll record our observations of these properties. And we'll have results soon. We'll repay you with meaningful results. I promise. Okay, buddy. The other thing I haven't done is, that's Master Do's headband that I'm wearing, which is a weapon. I have a couple of them. I have a mask that's a weapon, the headband that's a weapon. It's actually a pretty powerful weapon. I have 2 kinds of masks. One that does poison, and I think the other one does fire. I don't use that stuff. I think the masks have a number of uses limit. So once you use them, its durability breaks and you can't use it again. But I have like 3 of them. So I don't remember how many uses you get out of them. With Master Do's
headband, it will recharge. So we're going to go here. We haven't been to Erva in a long time. We're going to go here, check on research there. Yeah, it's funny because I think the thing for me is because the input on the controller is the same thing for so many different things, like L2, R2. So if you equip the headband, you can't also have, you can't also use the disruptor because they both use L2, R2. Same thing with the Watcher, which I think is the strongest thing ever. So if you're not using any of those cuckoo types of things and you use the R2, L2, then it comes in handy. So I guess basically the game is giving you choices, but you won't be able to use all of those things at once because they use the same input button. So if you use the Watchers and then you hit L2, R2 again, what is supposed to happen is it deactivates the Watchers. And unless you have selected Master Du's headband, it won't activate. So you can only use one of those at a time. But I keep forgetting it because I've been using the Watcher a lot. So maybe I'll force myself to remember to use it every once in a while. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're at the almost 2-hour mark. So we're going to start this research and then we're going to end the video, episode 18. And get this ready for upload since we upload every Tuesday and Friday.
Investing in technology is investing in the future itself.
Okay, Valtus. So this one is completed. I'm assuming that's something for Damien. And then we'll go to the next one that's available to us is this one, high capacity energy power device. Not sure what we would use this for. We're going to do all the research, so.
The research we conduct here always takes the world one step further. Our research will one day shine for all to see.
The good news is you always end up, like with the witches, you end up ultimately with a blueprint. So you can craft something else. Now, whether you then go back to the guy who crafts the cuckoo stuff or whether you go somewhere else, it gives you something to craft. Like for me, the best thing from Scalastone was the transporter, which I haven't set up yet. But anyway, we are done for today. This is Reg with PaxAriaGaming saying thank you guys for joining me on this journey. I love this game still. When we come back in episode 19, we're going to wrap up the chapter, do a few more side things before we get to the final chapter of the game. So thanks again for joining me. I will see you in episode 19. This is episode 18 of Crimson Desert with Reg with PaxAriaGaming saying thanks, and I will see you soon. Reminding you that uploads every Tuesday and Friday. If you like this video, hit the like button. I thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you soon.